Cool.
So, kind of piggybacking off of the E3 idea is this topic is going to be about games and are our expectations too high for games? Like, when we hear about them, or just in general for what we're expecting the future of gaming to be, do we think that gamers and our own expectations might be too high?
No, we give them too much slack.
All right.
Ryan has spoken. That's all.
Bye,
Thanks
guys.
for watching. Subscribe.
Please subscribe.
I was
but
just kidding.
I think we do. I think obviously there are times where they do it to themselves, where they create such a high expectation for us that it's almost inevitable that we're going to think that because they make us, even though we should know by now. We've been burnt so many times with so many different games. We should know that what they're showing us, no way is going to be exactly what it's going to be. No way. But we always...
Have you seen the McDonald's commercial?
Yeah. There you go. So, like, obviously, I think part of that is definitely the fault of companies, but I also think that sometimes it is our fault. I think some games don't claim to be more than they're going to be. People just really want them to be that and expect them to be that. And it's maybe a smaller developer, and we want so much, especially with this world we have today where so many good games do come out, that we expect so much from everyone that we're very disappointed if it's a smaller kind of game. What do you guys think?
Yeah. So it's interesting. I took a hiatus from video games for a couple of years in high school and through college, and when I came back, essentially I had no expectations. I had played the original Call of Duty Finest Hour on PlayStation 2, and then years later when I played Call of Duty Ghosts, which is apparently one of the worst Call of Duties out there, I was having a really fun time. And I'm wondering if part of it's because I had left, I didn't bring expectations with me after all those years, and I just hadn't. I was playing some video games. I played Super Smash all the time, but that's just so much different. That's not like in the thick.
And you know what to expect. Yeah, every time you get a Super Smash Bros. Game.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting. The same thing happened with Overwatch. I was very, very impressed with Overwatch and with League of Legends. And now that's the standard.
Yeah.
So for me, I kind of had the sweet spot where I could be impressed by all these new video games, again, and it was great. And I think for us as kids, that happens as well, because when we're younger, everything is new. And so when you experience, something for the first time and it's good, you really enjoy it. So it's probably the sad reality that those who like video games the most maybe don't get to enjoy them as much as people who don't play as often.
But is that self-inflicted?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say self-inflicted. I would say it's just natural.
Just causality.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I agree with you, because as a kid, I would get games, and I would be like, yeah, because I wouldn't get that many games. Like, I got a game called Frontline Fields of War, which probably none of you have even heard of.
Nope.
And I remember playing it. I had so much fun. I'd play like levels over and over again because I didn't have a lot to go back to, and I really had a good time with it. And I remember my dad being like, "Wow, like that sky and like the graphics look so good." You go back now, it's a 360 game. Doesn't look that great. It did have some really cool stuff, like where sound was accurate. Like if something was shot really far away, you would hear it seconds later, and that was pretty innovative for the time. Probably most games do that now, but like I remember having so much fun with that game. And now, like, really good games come out, and I'm just not as impressed because I think I follow games too much. And too much might be just, I don't know if that's the truth, but I think I just follow games so much more, and I know so much more about what's going on, that I'm just jaded, and I've seen it's too saturated. I've been oversaturated.
I think that's kind of a problem that we're dealing with in a lot of different aspects, like in movies, too. Because, like... you had to go out of your way to avoid anything about Avengers Infinity War, because they were coming on Facebook. There was like article after article after article about like some of the actors, some of the people that that other people wouldn't have expected to see in Infinity War, or like because they saw actors on set, or like just because there's so much communication in the world now, it kind of takes away from that surprise, which I think. And I mean, yeah, most kids are impressed by anything, but I mean, I'm sure it helped that they had no expectations. They didn't know what was coming going in either.
And I did enjoy Infinity War a lot more because of that, because I watched one trailer, the very first one, and I think I turned it off halfway through. And I love trailers, but I refused to watch any more trailers. I refused to read anything about it, and I went in, and it was not what I was expecting.
So yeah, obviously that's not going to happen with everything, but I'm sure that really helped you because you didn't form any expectations. And I saw all the trailers and everything, and I still liked Infinity War too, but at the same time, I didn't really.
Sorry, the cat's doing weird stuff.
Thanks, all.
We're going to just take a moment to enjoy this.
As long as she's not eating forwards, it's fine.
Don't do that.
But I didn't really have any expectations for Infinity War other than, I mean, it's Marvel, so I just assumed it was going to be good. And so, I mean, and it was good. I mean, now that I've gone back and seen it, now that I've seen it, and I haven't seen it again, I want to.
I want to. Yeah, me too. Let's go. Right now. Let's go.
Bye, guys. I want to, now I've kind of overanalyzed some of the places, spoiler alert, if anyone hasn't seen Infinity War.
It's your fault.
Now, it's your fault.
I'll be shaking my hands as he's spoiling it, and I'll stop when he's done.
But how Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, they kind of forgot how to use some of their powers, I think, because when they're fighting Thanos on Titan, he could, early in the movie he used his portal to cut off the hand of one of the minions, or one of his minions, and stop it. That's distracting.
I have to now.
You're saying why didn't he do it with the gauntlet arm?
Yeah, or and I was talking with a coworker of mine and Keefin's.
I've done this to myself, and now I can't stop.
About just basic communication. Why couldn't Doctor Strange have just told them what needed to be done?
I think that would have ruined it.
Yeah, I was just about to say, those are the theories, is that he knows what has to happen, and if he knew that if he told them for whatever reason, that would change something.
Yeah, because they would be expecting it, and they might try to make decisions that would cause it.
I'll give you that point, but still, in most movies, if there was even a speck of good communication, it would stop a lot of the problems that most of these movies have. But then I guess I'll defeat the purpose of having a movie in the first place.
That's fair. Let's move back to games.
Yeah. So wait, what does
let's
stop
this
have to do with games?
Oh, right. And we were talking about games because. I mean, I think that's why people don't enjoy the games when they come out as much, because there's so much communication, and they know everything that's coming before it actually gets there.
They know the better version of it.
Yeah, and they come up with this image in their head as to what they've already been told it is, and then plus they're like, oh, plus if they've told us this much, how much haven't they told us? And then their expectations go way up, and then they get the game, and then they're super disappointed, and then start screaming online like a bunch of nubs.
Ryan, that's a good point, because
that's a really good point.
What that reminded me of is when I first played Kingdom Hearts. I knew it was Disney and Final Fantasy. I watched plenty of trailers, and but despite the trailers that they were showing, there was still so much that was in there that I wasn't expecting, and it was great. So they fulfilled on that. But now with Kingdom Hearts 3, with all the different message boards and groups I'm a part of, I'm getting too much information, even now. And I'm after hearing that, I'm starting to wonder if I just want to unfollow all of that stuff until I get the game. And so I'm not. I'm not tipped off. For one thing is that how it was always like Disney and Final Fantasy, but a little more heavy Disney. Mm-hmm. There's essentially going to be no Final Fantasy in this. In Kingdom Hearts 3. And
that makes me sad.
It makes me sad too, because that was part of the whole shtick about it. And I'm wondering, after Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 2 had Final Fantasy in it. It didn't play a part in the storyline like it did in Kingdom Hearts 1. And now they're just kind of like going away from it. And I am like now, after not having played it, I'm already disappointed. And I wish I hadn't heard that communication at the time. Would I be disappointed if I get the game and then I'm like, wait, where's all the Final Fantasy characters? I don't know. But the point is, it's already set me up for something. Like I've already been given information that makes me think about it in a way that I don't want to think about it. And so it's a problem.
TMI.
Yep.
It's a problem.
So I have to agree with everything that's been said, and I was going to kind of bring up a point similar to that. Just how we live in a culture now where everything's instant, right? We get instant news, we get instant texts, we get instant even video, we can get instant everything. And I follow gaming a lot. I go on Reddit a lot. I go on news websites a lot. And one culture that's kind of evolved this generation especially is the Metacritic culture. So there's a website called Metacritic.
Yep.
And it's a video. I don't know if they do more than video games, but I just go on there for video. I think they might.
I think it does movies as well, but it's mostly known for video.
Mostly
games.
known for video games, and they had what they do is they have something called a Metascore, which is like a culmination of all the critics and what they rated the game. And it's
user
like
and
average.
critics.
User and critics. There's different ones, and I think this generation has created this Metacritic culture where if this game does not have a certain rating on Metacritic, it's garbage. If this game is lower than like 80, it's garbage. To some people, if it's lower than 80, it's garbage. Like if it gets a 70, it's a garbage game. And I'm like, huh? Because this is out of 10. I mean, they do it by 100, so it's like 70 out of 100, but like it's out of 10. I'm like 7 out of 10. How is that a garbage score? That's probably that's an above
degrees.
But that's an above average score, honestly. I mean, I would consider average to be a 5, but like
yeah.
I mean, everyone has their different way of viewing, the Metascore, but this culture's evolved to like if your console's game, like especially with exclusives, like people become toxic about it. Like PlayStation exclusives are better and Xbox has none of them, and like there's truth to that. But the reason I gave my Xbox, or not gave it, the reason I sold my Xbox to Tanner is because I realized
your PS4.
PS4.
Did I say Xbox?
You did.
The reason I sold my PS4 to Tanner was because I just realized I don't care about the PlayStation exclusives. I didn't grow up playing PlayStation, I grew up on Xbox and Nintendo and PC. Like, I don't care about PlayStation exclusives. And, they're highly rated, but, like, just because The Last of Us has a 90 on Metacritic, it doesn't mean I don't enjoy Mario Tennis Aces, which has a 78 on Metacritic right now, And
that you'll have more fun.
Or that I'll have more fun, because fun is subjective, right?
Yep.
And so this website and other websites in general has just created this culture where like, oh, well, this game didn't meet my expectations. It got a 7 out of 10. I'm not going to play it. Or, wow, this game's a 9 out of 10, so I have to play it. I have to buy a PlayStation just for this game. And I fell for it. I fell for that's not a scam.
I've done it too.
I fell for it. I was like, wow, The Last of Us, this is a highly rated game. Wow, the PlayStation's getting all these highly rated games. And then I played them and I'm like, I don't really care about these games. They're not my thing. And then I realized something, like, your taste in games is your taste in games, you don't have to like what everybody else likes.
Like Skyrim.
Yeah.
No, you do. There's certain games where that's not applicable.
But how I'm bringing that into expectations is that everyone now has these expectations that every game that comes out is going to be perfect for them, you know? And it doesn't matter what genre, it doesn't matter what exclusive it is to console, or if it's a PC exclusive. And, I've talked a lot of crap about Sea of Thieves on this podcast. But I will say this. This is a good example of what I mean. Because I talked a lot of crap about Sea of Thieves, but, like, maybe it just isn't my kind of game. And maybe Ryan and Keefen love that game. And they do.
It's a fun game.
It's a fun game. And maybe it's just not my kind of game. Maybe it's a 6 out of 10 for me, but to them it's a 9 out of 10. I mean...
But what about with that new trailer and new content?
Well, I was going to say now that the game is starting to come out with content, I'm a little more interested, because I wasn't interested in the sandbox, just mess around as a pirate. I was interested in, like, kind of story content in a way. Mm-hmm. And now that that's coming, I'm more interested, because that's just my kind of game. So I think everyone has these expectations where like every game that comes out is going to be for them. Like, oh, the next Call of Duty is coming out. It's going to have this and this and this and this and this, which I liked from this game and this game and that game. And then it's like, well, we're only going to do this for this Call of Duty. What the heck? This isn't what I wanted. You know, and I think that's the problem. And I think E3 is the biggest, you know,
purveyor of it.
Because I watched, so I'm going to talk about the Nintendo conference for a few minutes. So we talked about this last week, but I'll kind of talk to Keith a little bit about it. So a lot of people were disappointed in the Nintendo conference, basically saying they spent way too long on Smash. So it was a 40-minute conference and they spent 25 minutes on Smash. I agree that they spent too long on Smash. But people are saying like, oh, the Switch has no games coming out this year. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, there's plenty of games coming out on the Switch this year. I'm getting Mario Tennis tomorrow. A week after that, Crash Bandicoot, the remakes, are coming to the Switch, and I'm probably going to get that at some point. And then there's that Octopath Traveler game that's coming out. And then in August, we got Overcooked 2's coming out.
And it looks good. I saw some gameplay.
It looks really good.
I'm excited.
Super Mario Party comes out in October.
Those are a lot of games.
And
it's
then
like a ton of games.
And then
Super
there's
Smash.
And Smash comes out in December, and there's even more. So there's this game called
Pokemon Let's
Starlink
Go.
at Pokemon Let's Go. But there's this game called Starlink. It's coming out to all platforms, but it's kind of like a Star Fox game. But did you guys play Rogue Squadron?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that mixed with like different mechanics. But on the Switch version, there's exclusive Star Fox content, and you can play the whole game as Star Fox. And like,
and you forgot Star Fox Racer as well.
Yeah,
Star Fox Grand Prix.
Yeah, which didn't happen. But maybe the Star Fox reveal for the Starlink game is what they meant. But like, there's and Dragon Ball FighterZ is coming to the Switch in September. Wolfenstein 2 comes out to the Switch next week.
Well, I think people might just mean exclusive.
Yeah, exclusives.
But even then, they still have
Mario Party, Smash, Octopath Traveler, Mario Tennis.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, well, it's not my kind of game. Well, I'm like, but you have Breath of the Wild, you got Mario Odyssey and Xenoblade that all came out last year. Like, if those are your games, then you can play those games. You know, people had. I do agree that the Nintendo conference was a little disappointing. I wish there had been a couple more exclusives announced, but you know, there's still plenty of games to play on your Switch. I feel like another part of the high expectation culture is people are playing too many games. I feel like. Yeah. And I think I'm kind of a culprit there because I play a lot of games. I find myself like, well, crap, I beat this game. Well, now I need to go buy 2 more games because I have all these games to play. But I need to slow down and realize I need to take my time with these games before I buy more and just enjoy them.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, well, since I want to have everything, it's instant gratification culture. I got to have this game, even though I haven't beat this game, and I have to get this console for it. And I think that's another reason that people's expectations are too high. But yeah, I kind of went on a rant there, but those are
good points. Good points.
Yeah, I mean, if you keep expectations low to minimum, like I had never played. I mean, I had played an Elder Scrolls game before Skyrim, but
I played the crap out of Oblivion.
I didn't play Oblivion as much as I've played Skyrim. Like, I think I don't remember how many hours I've played on Skyrim, but I'd probably be embarrassed to read the number.
You would be,
because it was such a good game. I could go back to it time and again, and I have fun every single time.
And I downloaded modded story content so that I can play more.
Yeah, there's so much to do in that game.
Yeah, it's good.
Some games
maybe
just get
someday,
it right.
Ryan.
Some games just get it.
But it was a great game for you because you didn't have But even for me, it was because Oblivion. Bethesda takes forever to come out with games usually, except for Fallout 76. It's kind of quick for another Fallout game. But generally, especially with Elder Scrolls, it takes them a while. So there's definitely big leaps and improvements. Yeah. And then they allow modding, so then people can put whatever they want in there. So, but I do think people have high expectations. I think a lot of people are. They had so many expectations for the next Fallout game that people were disappointed with Fallout 76's presentation. And I think people are just so expectant on the perfect game, like you said, for them. And if it isn't what they want, they'll even go to Metacritic. If it has a great score, they'll think it's too high and they'll give it a 0. Like Breath of the Wild, like any major release that got really good ratings, they're like, we need to even this out because this is obviously inaccurate.
That's so petty.
And then they'll give it a 0 because it's just because it didn't meet the expectations for them.
So ridiculous.
But not even just console wars, just internal conflict.
Wars. Yeah,
within their own console.
People can't handle a game doing well because they don't like the game. Like, I don't like Sea of Thieves that much, but I'm not like, I can't believe this game sold 4 million copies or whatever. Like,
And you don't go to Metacritic and give it a 0.
no. If people like the game, they like the game.
So kind of going off of that, and this is kind of going to switch it a little bit. Obviously, we're not developers. We have no idea what it takes to go into a game, which makes it even harder for us to judge because all we do is get the fun output. We don't see all the blood, sweat, and tears that go into making those games. But let's pretend for a moment that we had to create each of our own perfect game. What would you want to see in your perfect game?
So are we going to do realistic or unrealistic?
Let's do realistic and then we'll hit unrealistic.
Okay. I don't want to go first this time.
All right, I'll go first. So I think with a realistic expectation, I would like to see a game kind of like Grand Theft Auto, which is funny because I've never actually played a Grand Theft Auto game, but I've seen enough of it, and it's open world. There's tons to do. They get so much content all the time, and you can just do so much in that game. You can do races, you can do like fighting, you can do like crazy slasher.
You can go skydiving.
I saw a mod where you could be Goku.
Yeah, they have so many, like, it's just like pretty all encompassing in a lot of ways. And something I would like to see is something like that, but with more choices that affect the world. So a lot of games claim to have like those, if you make this choice, it's going to give a branching path, which is going to make this different. And a lot don't really execute very well because it all kind of leads to the same path anyways. But I would like to see a game kind of like Grand Theft Auto with a lot to do, but with maybe the story mode and some of the multiplayer in a way with those branching paths where the decision you make affect the world that you now inhabit, like permanently in different ways. I think that would be a cool thing to see, and I think that's decently realistic. Maybe it wouldn't be super huge. Maybe there'd only be 3 or 4 branches because that is difficult to do. But I would like to see like a huge game like that with pretty solid differences with what you decided to do.
Are you done?
Yeah, that's my realistic one.
I don't know how realistic this is, so I'm just gonna use this for both of them.
Okay.
So a game kind of like a combination of Skyrim, World of Warcraft, and Sea of Thieves.
Whoa, you piqued my interest.
So like the way I was thinking, it would still have like it would have that kind of open world and all the questing stuff like Skyrim does, but it also has like the traveling aspect that Sea of Thieves has, and then it has like the leveling system more similar to WoW because like in Skyrim to level up you just have to use a weapon a billion times and then you
or spell
a billion times and then it levels that up. But I mean that's kind of how it is in vanilla WoW, like in the first one. Like you have to level up your weapons, and now they changed that so you don't have to level up your weapons, which I was glad and sad at the same time because like it was kind of cool because then you could have specialized weapons instead of just being able to use whatever
they gave you.
But so yeah, have that change, have that level up system change a little bit, but give you the option to travel further, travel in the ocean, and like use your mounts because a little differently because in WoW like it's pretty much just like driving a car, like it just goes wherever you want, and but it's like it feels almost like almost mechanic, like it doesn't feel like you're riding an actual animal.
So you'd want it to just feel more like fluid, like Sea of Thieves, like fun to do.
Yeah, like or like
interesting concept,
or like realistic, like like when you hit a storm in Sea of Thieves, or like and if you're on a mount or on a flying mount and you hit a storm and it actually gets harder to navigate and control through. I mean, the only way it's difficult to navigate your mount in WoW is if you're drunk.
Which you can do in Sea of Thieves as well.
Yes, you can do it in Sea of Thieves.
And boy, do I do it every single time.
It throws up on me every single time.
Oh, man. But yeah, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, that's kind of what would be my game.
Okay, so I have 2 realistic dream games, I guess. So the first one's a Star Wars game. Now, I don't know. I've never played Knights of the Old Republic, the original, but I heard it's like one of the best Star Wars games ever made.
It's good.
Because I think it's an RPG, right?
It is.
Yeah, but I don't know. I played a Knights of the Old Republic game. I didn't really like the style because I was...
When did you play?
Where were you used to Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy?
Yeah, I was used to the Jedi Knight series and the Jedi Knight Academy. I mean...
But when did you play it? Did you play it when it came out or did you play it recently?
Well, I played it a few years ago.
Because it might not hold up. We can test that later, though.
Yeah.
Putting nostalgia to the test.
No, but yeah, I was disappointed because I was expecting, because most of the Star Wars games I had played gave you a little more control over
Did you
your
play Force
lightsaber.
Unleashed?
No.
Oh my gosh, you were so stupidly overpowered in that game.
It's pretty fun.
It is fun.
The first one, I
But,
never
like-
played the second.
But yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
but so
yeah,
you
my
wanted like a
next-
really good Star Wars.
I want another good Star Wars RPG. I don't know what Knights of the Old Republic was like, so I can't really compare. I know we bring up Skyrim like every time, but like
It's the game.
it's like it's a classic RPG, you know. I want a Jedi or not Jedi. I want a Star Wars game where I can pick and I can pick from like being I could be a commando in the Clone Wars, or I could be a commando, or I could be
Back to that, bringing that full circle.
I could be, or it could go to classic. We could go to the Galactic Civil War. I could be a rebel soldier in Empire, but like,
But you
I
get to
get
choose.
But I get to choose my
Interesting.
path. I get to tell my story. I get to increase my skills.
So an open
I never
world
knew I
game.
wanted that game until just now. That sounds awesome.
I want, and I, you
That
know,
does sound awesome.
I'm sure Knights of the Old Republic is similar to that, but it probably not to the scope of what they could do in 2018. But like a game like that where I can choose my path in the Star Wars world, and it's just, and I don't want it to be online because then they're going to throw in microtransaction bull crap and blah blah blah. I just want like Skyrim, an open world, choose your own adventure.
What about with
Single player.
co-op?
Okay, maybe,
Okay.
yeah, but that'd be cool. Like
Skyrim co-op would be cool too.
you guys could start a
Bethesda.
character. Like you guys could.
Well, I mean, they tried it.
Maybe kind of like
It was supposed
Minecraft,
to
where you
be
guys create your own like private server and you level your characters together. Oh my gosh, I want this game. EA, why? EA. But that's
So that's your first one.
my first one. My second one, so Assassin's Creed. We've all played at least one of them, right?
Yes.
I've never finished one, but yeah, I did.
I've never finished one either, but I've
I
played
have.
one. So how many of you here have played the Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time? So you're the only person that has.
Wow, you haven't?
No, the only one I've played is Breath of the Wild.
Oh, okay. No.
Wow.
So you probably don't know the gist of. You probably don't know the story of Ocarina of Time that much. Then?
Oh, I've heard stuff. My best Zach.
So
loves those
I'll just talk about it first. So you guys know how Link gets trapped in the Temple of Time for 7 years because he was too young to wield the Master Sword.
Yeah.
So I want a game.
I was taller than him.
Yeah. So I want a game where you play as Sheik during that 7-year period that Link is sealed.
Okay, who is Sheik?
Sheik is so Zelda goes.
Spoiler alert!
Oh my gosh, this game came out in 1998.
That's true.
Get over it. So Zelda in the Ocarina of Time assumes a disguise known as Sheik, so that so that Ganon can't find her. The Sheikah tribe is the tribe that in Breath of the Wild, the Sheikah tribe, they're the ones that defend Zelda. They're the protectors of the royal family.
Like, you know how in Super Smash.
Well, I know that, but doesn't mean I understand exactly how Sheik fits into the world.
But yeah, so that's how Sheik. So Sheik is Zelda. That's how she fits into the world. And when you're adult Link in the game, she comes to you before each dungeon and gives you some like cryptic stuff and
Usually
tells
gives you
you
a new
about,
song.
and then gives you a new song to play. But I want a game where while Link is sealed in the temple, you play as Sheik, like an Assassin's Creed style, where you're like sneaking through places in Hyrule, trying to hide from Ganon and trying to like gain intel and
So you go through those 7 years. So you would start out as young Zelda, like you did as young Link.
Yes, you started
That would
as
be
young
cool.
Zelda, and then like in the middle of the game you're like teenage Zelda, and then by the end you're like
With
adult
Breath of the
Zelda.
Wild mechanics too, that could be really
With
good.
Breath of the Wild mechanics. This game
Yeah, good ideas, man. The Star
would
Wars
be
and that one.
I should be a developer.
Yeah.
Hire me right now, as long as you're not EA.
Aren't you studying computer science?
Yeah,
Just make it happen.
Yeah.
They
you
make
know-
games for us to play.
yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
But those are my realistic games, and I don't know how realistic. I think the Star Wars one
I feel
is
like
very.
this seems pretty realistic.
Yeah.
Both of them do.
I think the Star Wars one especially seems really realistic to me. The Zelda one, I mean, Nintendo doesn't really make games like that, but I would love, because you know how they collaborated with Ubisoft to make Mario Rabbids,
which people loved.
and Ubisoft makes the Assassin's Creed series, and Shigeru Miyamoto, which is like the guy behind the Mario and a couple other series. He on stage when they announced the Mario Rabbids game talked about maybe we could do a Donkey Kong Assassin's Creed style game, and he was joking about it. I'm like, no, screw that. Do a Zelda Assassin's Creed game where you play as Sheik when Link was sealed away in the Temple of Time for 7 years. That game would be the best game I've ever played. By far, I I would be so hyped for that game, more hyped than any other game in my life.
Wow.
So those are my ideas for my perfect games.
Good
What about
ideas.
you, Tina?
Well, I think I have an idea that just beats both of those. I want I want a turn-based MOBA. No, I'm just kidding.
A turn-based MOBA? So kind of like a real-time strategy, but with turn-based combat.
I don't want that at all.
I don't want to play that at all.
Okay.
Age of Empires VR.
So I guess
Find me one.
Age of Empires.
but you still just are like looking at them and just selecting.
Oh yeah, exactly the same.
It's exactly the same, but it's in VR.
Same graphics too. I don't want any upgrade.
Oh,
Anyway.
that's
I
good.
play that game too much. Not the VR version, obviously. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Anyway, okay, so realistic games. We talked about this before. I want the good Pokemon RPG we've talked about.
Oh yeah, that's
I
good.
want
Gotcha.
that. Is it my idea of a perfect game? I don't know. I don't know what I think a perfect game might be, but I know I would want that one. Like,
Okay.
Isn't that
That's
kind
fair.
of what they're working on?
Well, we don't really know.
we'll
though.
see.
We'll see. They're working on a regular Pokemon RPG, but
But like with
And I don't want any of. I'd want an open world. Obviously, I don't want any microtransaction crap in it. I don't want any of that.
What about co-op?
Yeah, I would want co-op. I would.
Just throw co-op
love
at everything.
co-op with that. And I love co-op. I think some of the best co-op games I've played were the original the Lord of the Rings games on PlayStation 2.
right, yeah.
And
The
you-
Two Towers, way fun.
Two Towers. Yeah, super awesome. So I mean, I guess I would throw that one in. But what I think I want in a game, or
And you can do your unrealistic one right now too.
Okay,
since
yeah.
We're kind of getting a full circle in
yeah, I'll transition in that. Unrealistic. I want. Okay, so like I love the gameplay of Overwatch. I want a story mode. Now I'm not saying it has to be a story mode Overwatch, but that's what I'd like. Where sure you can have the multiplayer thing and have that, and it would be great. But then also have a story mode where it's similar gameplay, but you can also do co-op and stuff like that. But what I need is an immersive storyline, kind of like what Kingdom Hearts had. And I always bring that up. But you know what was very immersive was Ratchet and Clank. Those storylines were pretty immersive to me for some reason. Did you guys play them?
Nope.
Nope, I never
I
played
think
one.
I played Ratchet.
Remember, I didn't grow up on
10 minutes.
PlayStation.
Okay, so I'm pretty much the only one.
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank just had this
There's
It's
a
like-
movie, isn't there?
Yeah, with the new one.
and I never saw it. I have no idea if it's good or not. But
Apparently it wasn't that good.
nah.
Video
Well,
game movies usually never are.
Well, so it was great. It just had this nonchalant way of telling a good story, but having like good open world thing at the same time. Whereas like you know Skyrim, it as much as I know, I mean it has a storyline. You can follow the storyline.
Sometimes I just get so distracted.
It is very easy to get distracted.
But you can.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank had this really cool way of being linear, but also not. You could still jump around from planet to planet doing what you got to do, but in the end, you had to work it into something. And so, I mean,
in Skyrim, you can finish the main storyline and then you can still do all the rest of the stuff. Just
Yeah.
finishing the main storyline doesn't stop you from being able to.
So you're saying like an Overwatch game like that though,
yeah.
with
yeah.
like an immersive where you can kind of explore, but it also is linear. Like it tells you the story and it tells you a good immersive story.
You know what's really depressing? You almost got that. So in the heydays when World of Warcraft was like insanely massive and popular, I mean it still is, but not really as much as it used to be. Blizzard announced something called Project Titan.
Oh yeah.
And
I heard about
for years they wouldn't say anything about it until Overwatch came out. Until they came out and said that Overwatch was the scrapped version of
Oh my gosh,
Project
that is
Titan.
so true.
Really?
So they released some concept art of Project Titan, which showed Tracer but there was a male and a female tracer because they were originally going to be selectable characters as like the class that you wanted to be. And so it was going to be like a kind of MMO kind of deal, kind of like WoW, but with like the Overwatch world. So you almost got that in a sense. But you didn't. You got Overwatch instead.
Okay.
So that's what you still want it. You're holding on to the dream.
So, okay. But last unrealistic game. Yeah, this is unrealistic, at least for now. I want a Sword Art Online game.
Well, there are Sword Art Online.
No, I want...
Oh, you want
that.
You
Sword
want
Art
where you
Online.
die, Sword Art Online.
I don't know what
It's an
exactly.
anime.
I know that. I just don't know what that would be.
So,
What game would that be?
Basically, you are in the RPG world.
It's a generic medieval RPG, but like you're in it. If you die in the game, you die in
Okay,
real
but
life.
not that either. I don't want that.
No,
So it's like,
honestly,
what's that movie that just came out that I didn't watch that I should have watched?
Ready Player One.
That's the one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
but
haven't
like,
seen it either. But not. I mean,
So you want real VR? Like,
Yeah.
where you're really,
I
like
want
your
to be
brain's
in it.
tricked into thinking you're in this.
I want to be
Yeah.
wielding a broadsword
I would love
and
that.
attacking
Love it.
enemies. Love
That's
it.
what I want.
Absolute, unrealistic, perfect game. That is it for me. And even if it was Skyrim, everything Skyrim, but we got to be in it. Yes, I would play Skyrim at that point.
Look at that. That's all it takes.
Yeah, that's all it
I mean,
takes.
I think a lot of people would want that. It's totally never going to happen, but a lot of people would want that.
Yeah.
if we are close to that technology, I think it'll be a while before we get games like that.
If we're 80 years old,
So
we'll do it.
Good way to go out.
gonna be young again.
So with my unrealistic expectation, it would be in a way kind of what you said. So it would be an immersive VR, but real, like your brain thinks it's there. But it would be a game where you could pretty much do whatever you wanted, almost like a world simulator. But you could do anything. Like if you wanted to go to a scientist and have him open up a portal to go to World War II and fight there, you could do it.
Ooh.
If you wanted to go into the future or the past with dinosaurs, you could fight dinosaurs. Or if you just wanted to be a teacher for some reason, you could do that. Basically almost like a real world simulator where you could live out whatever fantasy you want
If you
to
want
do.
to be
And you could live out multiple fantasies.
That could be very
If you want to be
dangerous.
a tech company data entry
Well, I mean,
intern,
You can do it. Like,
A
obviously...
garbage collector that.
I mean, obviously, yeah, there's going to be things but that's video games anyways. There's going to be things that people are going to do. But I think that would be cool because you could just, you want to be a fighter pilot? You can go and do that.
a real Yandere Simulator.
What did you say?
we talked about this last week.
What did you say?
a real Yandere Simulator.
He's like,
You know what that is?
No, I have no idea. That's why I said, I'm lost.
That was a good one.
What's Yandere?
Don't tell him.
I feel like I listened to it in the podcast, but I don't actually remember what that is.
it's a girl that is really obsessed and stalkerish towards you. That
Like
she would literally
love sick and
love
she'll
sex.
do it.
She would literally
she'll
do
do-
anything for you.
But, I mean, that could happen in this game.
Yep.
Because I would want, going to the unrealistic, really, really freaking smart AI. And going kind of what I said with the GTA thing, where I would like a game like that, but with, branching... what you do in that game will affect the game. You become president, you make some crazy choice, it's going to affect how the game is. You're like, nuclear war, all of a sudden you're playing Fallout, essentially. I want it to be a super crazy world where you can do whatever you want, but while you're doing that, you're actually causing real world, ripples to affect the world, and I think that would be awesome. And I don't want it where you can play it with your friends.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be cool. Imagine with, you're out with, 4 of your friends or something,
You would
and
have
you're...
to draw several lines.
Thank you, Ryan. Always going to the dark places for some reason. But, I think that would be awesome. Just, you could just do everything. And, of course, that would kind of be an be-all, end-all game, essentially, because you could pretty much do whatever you wanted. But...
You'd be like, I want. You're describing a holodeck.
Sure.
Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
Kind of. I mean, it sounds familiar.
Wow, I'm gonna sound so much nerdier than you
Yu-Gi-Oh!
guys. No, a holodeck is from Star Trek.
Oh, you're right.
Oh.
Basically, where it's just this room, you go in and be like, I want whatever, and it creates the world for you.
Oh, or like the training simulators in the Justice League.
Yeah.
Nope, not those.
Also another show I don't watch.
So, anyways, that would be my unrealistic game that I've wanted for some time, and it definitely, I mean, that would, who knows how many terabytes or petabytes or whatever it would be at that point. But I think that would be awesome and it'd be fun to do, and that would be like my unrealistic game.
Nice.
Oh, you already mentioned yours. Kind of. So what about you, Nick?
My unrealistic game, huh? Man.
Wait. Ryan's was Yandere Simulator?
No, he kind of put them together.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how realistic it would be to mash.
Well, those
Sea
3
of
games.
Thieves.
Oh, gotcha. Right.
So that was kind of one
I think-
thing.
Okay, this is gonna be a weird idea, but Legend of Zelda again. But it's
Surprise.
like The Sims.
I need to play a Sims game. They really intrigue me, and I want to play.
Never
one.
played The Sims?
I've really
never
never
played it either.
and I really want to. Like, it
How in
fascinates
the
me.
world have you two never played The Sims?
How would I have?
I have it on my Steam.
So easily is how you would
I
have.
have it on Steam too. Well, we're doing a Let's Play, and you guys are gonna play The Sims.
Oh my gosh. The reason why I can't play a game like that, though, is just like,
He'll explain that.
I want more, like, immediate stuff. Like, I want to get in the game, I want it to be immediate. Which is why I struggled with Minecraft at the beginning.
Well, you can technically do cheats to do that.
But I mean, I like games like Roller Coaster Tycoon and Zoo Tycoon, so I know I'll like The Sims.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I have Sims 3 on Steam, so I mean, since I do Steam Share.
So you're saying a Zelda with Sims? How would that work?
But there's different
I feel like it'd be funny. Like, it'd just
There's
be
different
comical.
there's different races
I mean, Sims are
in
kinda
Zelda. Like you could make a Hylian, you could make a Zora,
So
you
it'd be
could
a
make
bunch
a
of
Goron,
Gorons.
you could make a Rito, you could make the Gerudo. Like it'd just be really.
Would you be able
dumb
to
fun.
go first person with them and do something?
That'd
Or-
be cool too, yeah. And I mean, this is unrealistic, so
Yeah, you can
So
dream,
the
dude.
Sims
Dream
top
big.
down, and then you can like go into like a first person mode and like interact with the people of Hyrule.
Could it be a
Just-
bunch of Deku trees?
I'll add,
Sure.
To make mine more unrealistic, I'll add VR to it.
It's always a good choice.
and co-op?
And also always a good choice.
Always co-op,
And it's
But yeah,
free.
and it's free.
And no microtransactions.
No, I want microtransactions, but they're free. And there's and every loot box and in every loot box, there's a chance that EA gives me money.
They pay back their debts.
Perfect game. You make money.
But yeah, I would want that Zelda Sims game with the first person view. It'd just be kind of silly and dumb to like mess. I just love the Zelda lore so much.
I'm sure they do have some mods
there'd be
with
s-
Zelda skins or something.
Well, there is a mod in Breath of the Wild that lets you play as Sonic, I think. There's a mod that lets you play as Zelda, which is pretty cool.
oh, I did see a mod that had the Ugandan Knuckles.
Ugandan Knuckles, yep.
So,
But yeah,
so the reason I brought that part up is we were talking so much about maybe we have too much high expectations, and now I kind of wanted us to throw out what we would like to see, but I also wanted to see the difference between each of us. Because it goes a lot back to what Nick said about each person has a different version of what they want a game to be. Our games had a lot of similarities, but we each had a different thing we wanted.
Yeah.
Each of us had different things that we wanted, and that's the same thing with games we're going to see coming out now. Is developers and other people creating these games, they have their own vision of what they think would be an awesome game. And obviously with technology, like they might not even be able to create the vision they want. And that's sometimes what they show you, and then they can't make what they wanted to. What I'm trying to say though is they're trying to create their vision, and they're trying to create their art, I guess. And it might not match up exactly what we want, and that might be why we're disappointed. Because we all have vastly differing opinions. And there are some certain similarities, but we also all come from pretty similar backgrounds in a lot of ways. But everyone's going to have a different perspective, and that's why I think sometimes we just need to sit and just enjoy games for what they are more, and just to see what they wanted us to have, and less maybe about what we wanted to have.
Yeah, just enjoy a game. If the game looks
I was
fun,
just kind of staring in general. Like,
oh my gosh.
Kim, I thought of a
Don't speak with your mouth.
with your unrealistic game idea. I thought of a really, really bad one.
Of course you did.
we're not going to talk about it.
No, we're not.
But yeah, that's kind of the reason I wanted us to go into that, is to see what our hopes and dreams were, but also just to see the differences.
Yeah. And going off what you said, if the game looks fun, you should play it. If you're sold on the trailer, you should play. You don't go on Metacritic and don't psych yourself out. I mean, there's nothing wrong with looking at a review for a game. I mean, the reason I look at reviews is like if the game's like really buggy or something, or like they did something and then they didn't do something that they promised or something like that. Yeah, but like if people are like, this just isn't my kind of game, I'm giving it a 5. I'm like, no, you know.
Yeah.
So we all have different tastes. Let's enjoy games for what they are. It's okay to have expectations, but you got to temper them.
Yeah.
So that you don't.
And remember, you didn't make the game.
Yeah, you didn't make the game. It was,
Dum-dums.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go, Ryan.
Yeah, so that's kind of the reason, just kind of a little bit of a tie-in, but also let people know what they should be making. Because you should.
I'm telling you, Nintendo, that chic Assassin's Creed idea, I would give you so much money for that game.
Also, make the Pokemon game like what Tanner just said. Do it.
Do
Just
it.
do it. I'll get one. I'll actually buy it.
Do it! Just do it! You know everyone wants it. You know that.
It's true. We
People
do
would buy it.
Pokemon
I'll
RPG
buy it.
like
I won't
that.
buy it otherwise, but I'll buy that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, thank you all so much for watching. Please please subscribe, and let us know what you guys think. And thank you so much for watching the All Chat Gaming
Real
Podcast.
quick, tell us what your perfect game would be. What is your ideal, both realistic and unrealistic video game that you would want?
And tell me why it's Zelda The Sims.
But yeah, thanks for watching, and see us next week. And thank you guys so much.
On the All Chat Gaming Podcast.
Bye.